2,600 people. The President of the United States, the Vice President, the Secretary of the State, the Secretary of Defense, the FBI Director, all in the same room. And one guy almost changed history forever on Saturday night. This is the full story of what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And I you, the details of this are wild. Okay, so for those who don't know, the White House Correspondents' Dinner is this annual event in DC. They call it the Nerd Prom. Journalists, politicians, celebrities, all in tuxedos, eating dinner together, roasting the president. It's been going on since 1921. Now, here is the thing Trump skipped it his entire first term, skipped 2025 too. But this year, he showed up. First time in over a decade, a sitting president actually attended. And the moment he decides to go, this happens. April 25th, 2026. Washington Hilton. About 8:40 in the evening, people are still walking the red carpet. Security is at its absolute peak, and a man with a shotgun, a pistol, and multiple knives come rushing towards the ballroom where the President of the United States is sitting. So here is exactly how it went down based on court documents and surveillance footage. The suspect we now know his name is Cole Thomas Allen, 31-year-old from Torrance, California, had checked into the Washington Hilton on April 24th, the night before the dinner, as a regular hotel guest. That's how he got inside. On the night of the event, surveillance footage shows him leaving his 10th floor room dressed in all black. He is carrying a black bag. Inside that bag, a 12 gauge pump action shotgun, a .38 caliber pistol, and several knives. He then uses an interior stairwell, deliberately bypassing the heavily monitored areas of the hotel, and makes his way down to the terrace level, which leads directly to the hotel ballroom. At approximately 8:40 p.m., he approaches the security checkpoints. The the magnetometer, basically a metal detector, the last line of defense before you get into the actual dinner. And instead of stopping, he runs through it holding the shotgun. A Secret Service officer at the checkpoint heard the shot immediately. He got hit right in the chest, but thank God he was wearing a ballistic vest and he is expected to be okay. That's officer that officer drew his own weapon and fired back. 5 shots total. Allen went down. He was not struck by the bullets but suffered minor injuries from the fall. He was arrested he was arrested right there on the spot. And meanwhile inside the ballroom, chaos. Guests are hiding under tables. NPR journalists later described scrambling for information while crouching on the floor. Trump and Melania were evacuated. Vanche Rubio, Hegseth, Kash Patel, RFK Jr. all rushed out. Pretty much the entire line of succession was in that room. Now, here is where this story gets genuinely strange because when you look at who this guy is on paper, it does not fit the profile you would expect. Cole Allen graduated from Caltech in 2017 with a degree in mechanical engineering. Caltech, one of the hardest schools to get into the entire country. He went on to get his master's in computer science from Cal State Dominguez Hills in 2025. He was a part time teacher at a tutoring company called C2 Education in Torrance. He tutored kids And not only that, in December 2024, just a few months before all this, his company named him Teacher of the Month. He developed video games on the side. His LinkedIn shows he was involved in his college's Christian fellowship. There is a photo of him at Caltech in 2017, smiling in a cardigan. There is a photo of him as a little kid holding a stuffed bunny. This is not the profile of someone you would expect to show up at the White House correspondents' dinner with two guns and a plan. But here is what investigators are piecing together now. His social media, specifically a Blue Sky account verified by NBC News, showed a clear shift over time. Post critical of Trump, critical of the Iran war, critical of immigration detention policies. His sister told authorities after the shooting that he had a tendency to make a radical statement and had mentioned wanting to do something to fix the problem he saw in the world. But nobody took it seriously enough to act. And about 10 minutes before he walked towards the checkpoint, he sent an email to family members and a former employer. It said, I am quitting here. I wish I could have said anything earlier, but doing so would have made none of this possible. My sincerest apologies for all the trouble I have caused. He signed it, and this is not a joke. Cole called force friendly federal assassin Allen. He knew exactly what he was doing. Investigators also found what they are calling a manifesto, and while it never directly names Trump, it's not subtle. Part of it reads, I am a citizen of the United States of America. What may representatives or do reflect on me, and I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, a traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. It also mentions grievances about federal government military strikes, detention camps, and what he saw as moral failure of the current administration. And there is a line in his note to family that's particularly disturbing. He says he did not specifically intend to target law enforcement, but, quote, I would still go through most everyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary. So this was not a random act. This was a planned political assassination attempt. He bought his train ticket on April 21st. He made his hotel reservation on April 6th. He bought the shotgun all the way back in August 2025. This was months in the making. Allen was arrogant in federal court and is now facing three serious charges. 1. Attempted assassination of the President of the United States. 2. Transportation of a firearm across state lines with intent to commit a felony. 3. Discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence. If convicted on the first charge alone, he is looking at a life in prison. U.S. Attorney for D.C. Janine Pirro, who by the way was at the dinner that night, said at the press conference, Cole Allen traveled across the country with deadly weapons and a plan to assassinate the President of the United States. There is no room in this city for political violence. Acting AG Todd Blanche said he was stopped because of the courage and professionalism of the Secret Service officers on scene. And Blanche himself was also at the dinner. He said, and this stuck with me. This one hits a little differently. We were all there. Okay, so now let's talk about the questions that nobody has clean answers yet. Number one, how did he get so close? This is the question everyone is asking. Former FBI Deputy Director Andrew McCabe said security at this event was caught almost on the level of a national security event because of how many senior officials were there. And yet, a hotel guest with two guns managed to get with feet of the ballroom. He used the hotel's own stairwells. He knew the layout. The fact that he was a hotel guest gave him inside access that an outsider would not have had. There are serious questions about why the Secret Services did not flag him earlier. Number two, was there a security failure? Senior Democratic Whip Dick Durbin said after being briefed by Secret Service Director Sean Coran that he saw no indications of a security lapse, but Trump himself said the Washington Hilton was not a particularly secure building and used it as an argument for why the White House needs its own ballroom. Make of that what you will. Number three, what does this say about political violence in America? This is now the third time in 3 years that Donald Trump has been the target of an attack. And while the White House press secretary tried to blame Democrats for rising political violence, critics were quick to point out that inflammatory rhetoric exists on both sides. But regardless of where you land politically, the trend is undeniable and it's alarming. Look, whatever you think about Trump, whatever you think about the political situation in America right now, attempting to assassinate a president or any elected official is not the answer. It has been and it will never be. It has never been and it will never be. What is this story really shows is how fragile things are right now. A Klatech, educated engineer who tutored kids and developed video games, radicalized to the point where he bought a train ticket across the country and walked into a hotel with two guns. That's not a distant threat. That's someone who was living a seemingly normal life just a month ago. Cole Allen is now sitting in federal custody facing life in prison. The Secret Service officer he shot is going to recover, and the president was evacuated safely. But the bigger story is here is not over. The security questions are not answered. The political climate that produced this moment has not changed. And that's the conversation America needs to have. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think about all of this, the security failure, the manifesto, the charges, all of it. If you are now here, subscribe because we cover stories like this every single day, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.